I'm Lorna, and today I'm going to read a book about Who Wants Arthur. And this story is by Amanda Graham, pictures by Donna Grinnell. I think that's Mrs. Humber. She works in the pet shop. Arthur was a rather ordinary dog. He lived in Mrs. Humber's pet shop with all the other animals. But Arthur was the only dog. All the other dogs had been sold because dogs are very popular. All the dogs except for Arthur. He was just an ordinary brown dog who dearly wanted a home with a pair of old slippers to chew. On Monday morning, Mrs. Humber put some rabbits in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog. Everybody wanted rabbits. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a rabbit. He practiced eating carrots and poking out his front teeth and making his ears stand straight up. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a rabbit. The next morning, Mrs. Humber put some snakes in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one that acted like a rabbit. Everybody wanted snakes. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a snake. He practiced hissing and slithering and sliding and looking cool. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a snake. Well, the next morning, Mrs. Humber put some fish in the window. Well, by the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one that acted like a rabbit and a snake. Everybody wanted fish. So that night, when all was quiet, Arthur practiced being a fish. He practiced swimming and blowing bubbles and breathing underwater. He practiced very hard until he was sure he could be a fish. Well, the next morning, Mrs. Humber put some cats in the window. By the end of the day, the window was empty, except for Arthur. Nobody wanted an ordinary brown dog, not even one that acted like a rabbit and a snake and a fish. Everybody wanted cats. Arthur felt like he would never find a home with a pair of old slippers to chew. Well, the next morning, Mrs. Humber put the rest of the pets in the window. There were 2 hamsters and a cage of mice, and there was a blue parakeet and a green frog and 1 sleepy lizard and Arthur. Arthur jumped on lily pads, he squeaked, he nibbled cheese, he purred, he croaked, he even tried to fly. By the end of the day, The window was empty, except for Arthur. He had collapsed, exhausted, in the corner of the window. Now he was certain he'd never find a home, whether he was a rabbit, or a snake, or a fish, or a cat, or a purple-spotted three-headed donkey. Arthur just decided he might as well be just an ordinary brown dog. Late that afternoon, Mrs. Hoomber was closing up the shop when a man came in with his granddaughter.
Excuse me, he said, Melanie tells me that you have a rather extraordinary, dog who performs all sorts of tricks.
Well, the only dog I have, replied Mrs. Hoomber, is Arthur. There he is! Grandpa, in the window! Cried Melanie. She rushed over and picked up Arthur, who gave her the biggest, wettest, doggiest lick ever. At last, Arthur knew he had found a home. With a pair of old slippers to chew. Got it, Squish. That's called Who Wants Arthur? So I have a song today about making new friends. This is called Make New Friends. Ready? Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. A fire burns bright, it warms the heart. We've been together from the very start. I have a hand and you have another. Put them together and we have each other. All right. Nice to see you all again. Bye for now.